think we're going to get started. So welcome to Storytime. Thank you for joining today. Today we're going to be reading Tabby McTat. Do that so you can see the thing. This is another Julia Donaldson book. Again, this one is also illustrated by Axel Scheffler, so that's pretty cool. Scheffler, sorry. I hadn't read this one before, but I've read it since. And anyone who saw the advertisement earlier today was probably been pre-warned about bringing tissues, because if you're anything like me, it definitely made me cry the first time I read it, but much more professional now, so it's going to be fine. It's not actually that bad. Me and Pooh Bear are going to be ready, so just a few little notes before we get started. Obviously we'll go through some of these pictures as we go along, and then at the end, if there's anything really cool, we can go back and have a look. I really hope you enjoy it. I really like it. I don't know, it's very sad, but it's going to be fun. We're all going to be fun. And then we'll do some announcements at the end. So, not to keep you guys for too much longer, let's get started. So, Tabby McTat by Julia Donaldson, illustrated by Axel Scheffler. Tabby McTat was a busker's cat, with a meow that was loud and strong. The two of them sang this of this and that, and people threw coins in an old checkered hat, and this was their favourite song. Me, you, and the old guitar, how perfectly, perfectly happy we are. Meow and the old guitar, how perfectly happy we are. One morning while Fred ate some bacon and bread, McTat took a stroll round the block, then stopped, for there on a doorstep sat a gorgeously glossy and green-eyed cat. She was black with one snowy white sock. Sock and McTat had a cat-to-cat chat, and that's how their story began. For while they were chatting of this and of that, a thief had his eye on the old checkered hat. He eyed it, he snatched it, he ran. The busker gave chase, but he tripped on a lace, and crash, in a flash he was down. He broke his leg and banged his head, and he ended up in a hospital bed in a faraway part of town. Goodbye, McTat said. I must get back to Fred. But where had the busker gone? The sun went down and the sky grew black. The stars came out, but he didn't come back. McTat lingered on and on. A week later, Sock took a stroll round the block and found her new friend looking thin. He's gone off and left me, said Tabby McTat. Then Sock said, my people, Prunella and Pat, would gladly find room for a fine tabby cat. She was right, and they took McTat in. Next morning, old Fred left his hospital bed and found his way back to the square. But a brass band stood where the pair once sat, and the band played this and the band played that. And Fred looked all around for his loud meow cat, but Tabby McTat wasn't there. Now McTat had a wife and a very full life, with plenty of things to do, like washing Prunella and pouncing on Pat, and hiding the car keys under the mat, and keeping the newspapers nice and flat, and giving the pens an occasional bat, and nibbling this, and nibbling that. But he dreamed of his friend with the old checkered hat, and always woke up with a mew. And often he said, "What's happened to Fred?" And his paws took him back to the square. But a conjurer stood where the pair once sat, and he pulled out this, and he pulled out that, and people threw coins in a tall black hat, but the busker was never there. One morning Sock said, "Look under the bed and see the 3 kittens I've had." And Soames looked like this, and Susan like that, and the littlest kitten, called Samuel Spratt, looked exactly the same as his dad. The 3 kittens grew, and they learned how to mew, and McTat sometimes sang them his song. And Samuel Spratt, with his tabby grey fur, had a deafening meow and a very loud purr, and he simply loved singing along. Me, you, and the old guitar, how perfectly, perfectly happy we are. Me, you, and the old guitar, how perfectly happy we are. When Susan and Soames found very good homes, their parents were happy and proud. There was one home like this, and another like that. But nobody wanted poor Samuel Spratt. They all said his voice is too loud. Now Tabby McTat was a home-loving cat, but he couldn't stop dreaming of Fred. And one day he called for his wife and his son, and he told them, "There's something that has to be done. I must go and find him," he said. So up and down and all over town he wandered a whole week long, for many a morning and afternoon, by the light of the sun and the light of the moon, till he heard a familiar song. Just me and the old guitar. If I had a cat, I'd be happier far. Just me and the old guitar. With my cat, I'd be happier far. "It's Tabby McTat, it's my long-lost cat." Old Fred was ecstatically glad. Then the 2 of them sang of this and that, and people threw coins in the new checkered hat. But why did McTat feel sad? He was missing his wife and his comfortable life, and the dozens of things to do, like washing Prunella and pouncing on Pat, and hiding the car keys under the mat, and keeping the newspapers nice and flat, and giving the pens an occasional bat. But how could he tell the busker that? Then out of the shadow sprang Samuel Spratt. "Oh, please let me be the busker's cat," he said with a deafening meow. Now Samuel Spratt is the busker's cat, with a meow that is loud and strong. The two of them sing of this and that, though Samuel sings just a little bit flat, and people throw coins in the old checkered hat, and this is their favourite song. Me, you, and the old guitar, how perfectly, perfectly happy we are. Meow and the old guitar, how perfectly happy we are. The end. So I am a sucker for a good cat story, so I think that's probably why I got really sad when I first read the first bit. And I was like, oh my god, nobody wants Samuel, so sad. And then they lost each other at the beginning as well. I thought that was so sad. But like any good Julia Donaldson story, it's a happy ending, which is great. So I want to go over a couple of the pictures with you guys, because there were some where the pictures were very small and you had to kind of look like that, like there was quite a lot of detail. So I just wanted to point out a couple of things. Not all of them, because as always, I think this book is amazing, and I think that you should have one in your home library or go and borrow one from your public library when you can, and then you can sit down and have a really good look at all the details in the pictures, because I definitely think this is worth it. So one of the things is when McTat likes to have loads of little jobs to do. So I bring that a little bit closer. So you can see where he's kind of sitting at the desk with Pat, and he's actually got his paw up and he's ready to swipe the pen out of her hand. And in the top corner where he's nibbling this and nibbling that, where he's nibbling the plant, that reminds me of our friend, our Storytime friend Atticus, who isn't with us today, but he likes to eat my plant. So that's that's a very familiar sight. And then on the other side, where he's cleaning Prunella, he's actually just licking her toes. So I thought that was really sweet. And then another good picture, which I didn't think we had a chance to spend too much time on, which I definitely think was worth kind of looking at, is the one where he waits overnight to try and find Fred. And I just think it's so sad. If I try and go really close, he looks so sad in that picture. I just think, yeah, it's just, I feel so sorry for him. I just really hope that you sit there and you're like, I really hope he finds somewhere nice to stay all the way through. But what I think is really cool about this picture, this particular book, is there are loads of background characters, and you can spend ages just going around and looking at all of them, because what's brilliant about Axel Scheffler, sorry, when these kind of stories, is I've noticed that he has really great eye for detail. So it really feels like every character is an individual, and they could all belong in a different part of the world or a different part of history, or just like modern history and different part. Yeah, there's just so many details going on. And what's really nice about the last picture, if you didn't catch it first time around, let me open it up, is if you look down the bottom, down this side, down so where the blue car is, if I just hold the page a bit better where my finger is, you'll see that Mum and Dad have come to see Samuel Spratt sing. So I think that's just really sweet. So that's our story for today, Tabby McTat. I definitely recommend it. What I also say about Axel Scheffler's work is that it's great if you like to draw, or you are trying to learn to draw, or you just like to doodle. They are great pictures to copy and to practice with, because there's detail but it's simplified, and you can really and there's just so many different varieties that you can really just try all different things, whether you're just working on a building or an animal or a creature or a person. There's just so much to do. So I really hope you enjoyed that today. We had a great time having you all with us. So just a couple of announcements before we go. Next week is our Easter celebration, so that's going to be really fun. So hopefully you guys will be able to join us for that. It won't be a long one, but it'd be nice to be able to spend a little bit of time with you, and especially over the holiday. And then after that is our birthday event, so that would be really fun. Got a story all lined up. And then the week after that is a birthday reading for one of our special Storytime friends. So hopefully you can join us for all of them and beyond. We really loved having your company today. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your Sunday to spend it with me, Tabby McTat, and Pooh Bear. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Say bye-bye, Pooh. Bye.